crafting your first legendary item in Shadowlands, and how does the rune carving system work in Shadowlands. In this video I will talk you through the whole journey of how you basically get from 0 to crafting your very own first legendary item, and give you a couple of fairly basic but important casual friendly tips on how to not fool yourself and how to do the right thing. Stick around, let's talk about it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Gyro. As always, really good to see you here, guys and girls, and especially very warm welcome to you if you are my new supporters, new subscribers. Welcome to our very casual, very friendly club of World of Warcraft players. We play for fun, we don't treat it as jobs, we chat to each other, we generally have fun in the game, and that is our primary purpose. Alright, crafting legendary items. Legendary crafting is a good system. I do like it. It's a new system, obviously added to Shadowlands. It's something that clearly the development team has invested quite a lot of time into, and I think they've done pretty well. Other than fairly, arguably, mediocre legendary powers, but this is out of scope of this conversation. That's just a subjective side note. I am not super impressed so far, looking at the selection of different legendary powers, legendary stuff that's available to us from what I've seen so far, from what I was aware of. So I'm not super excited, but that's neither here or there. How do you craft one? Because right now you really want one. Well, first of all, you would need to go through the initial quests with Venari to start unlocking Torghast Tower, and just basically very first steps into Torghast after you've unlocked it, you will go and find Runecarver, a mysterious NPC who is locked in the side chamber just on the right from the entrance. As you enter Torghast, before you even get to any of those portals leading you into the corridors, you will turn right and there is a little portal there. Well, first a door, then a portal, and there is the chained Runecarver. He has lost his memories, apparently, and he needs them restored before he can start helping you craft items, whatever. That is the story, that's the premise of it. It's okay, it works fine for me. So, naturally, you'll be doing some system unlock quests, yeah? You wouldn't expect it to be any other way. We are playing World of System Lands these days, and every single system requires some unlock. So first you go and try and restore his memories. So you kill someone in the Maw and then you come back and restore his memory. Then he says, can you free me because my hands are tied, so to speak, quite literally. And you go and do some more quests in the Maw, more in the Maw, and you free successfully, unfortunately, only one of his chained arms, which, spoiler alert, not really a spoiler, will be sufficient for him to craft legendary items for you. So one arm continues being chained. I actually disagree with the logic of Runecarver. I would have said, you know what, mate? I'm not gonna help you until you free my both hands. Yep. Only with one hand? Nah. Go craft your own legendaries. That's what I would have said. But that's again neither here or there, my friends. So you free his hand. He can start, crafting your items, but before, you obviously need materials and recipes. Alright, so he sends you to Torghast. He opens with a major quest for you to collect 1250 soul ash, which is the main essence material that is required to craft legendaries. And from what I know so far, it doesn't sound like it's a variable cost. It sounds like it always costs you 1250 soul ash to craft any legendary item, but I could be wrong, or that could be changed in the future. I actually don't know. Collecting that soul ash will take you a little bit of time, but we will talk about that kind of in a point coming right up. Before you even are able to complete that quest naturally from the Runecarver, if you are a crafter, well, system must detect that you're a crafter, Leatherworker, let's say. I'm a Leatherworker. So in this particular case, he teaches you some base item recipes related to the profession that you have. So for me, he gives a quest to go talk to my trainer in Oribos and, help restore some memories, whatever it's phrased as, but basically get the recipes to craft base items. So we go to Oribos, we talk to our trainer, and surprise, surprise, we learn the recipes for all of the items. In terms of leatherworking, what happens is that you are able to craft, and that's a benefit and the problem. I will tell you why. You can learn to craft mail armor, mail items, and you can craft leather items. Yeah, hence leatherworking. Okay, we'll get back to that. So base items, they get crafted with a bunch of materials, fairly expensive, we will talk about this, and they are of base item level of 175, which means nothing at this stage. They have no stats, you cannot use those items. It's not like you're gonna equip them and run around. Now, expensive. It is expensive to make those. Obviously, if you're a crafter, if I'm a leatherworker and skinner, as I am in this case, of course, I will have supply to leather. I will have heaps and heaps and heaps of leather. That's cool. Problem is that some leather, the blue leather, you know, the callous hides, those ones, they don't drop all the time. And skinning or leatherworking doesn't give you, at least I haven't seen, doesn't give you a recipe like we used to have in good old days, ages ago. I can't even remember even what expansion, but I remember that we were able to collect kind of light leather, like base level leather, and we, if I'm not mistaken, were able to upgrade it, cure it, whatever you want to call it, process it, and make better leather from it. You will either need to do a lot of skinning and a lot of running around and collecting those materials, which I fully expect you to do, and I did that myself, or you would need to naturally buy those items at the auction house. And of course, the further Shadowlands goes, the cheaper the items will be. There will be a flood of items on the auction house. But during the first couple of weeks when I was testing the system and was quite excited and was trying this, things were quite expensive, especially things not of your own profession. Because, let's say for me, I need enchanted heavy callous hides, which are made by enchanters. And I have an enchanter as well. I have my warlock who is an enchanter, but he's not high level enough to yet make enchanted heavy callous hides. Enchanting actually gets quite painful to level towards the upper end of the profession, because you need pretty much every recipe requires a legendary shard, which comes from disenchanting of legendary items. And I don't have that many legendary items yet to, sorry, not legendary, epic items, purple ones, I'm sorry. But I don't have that many of them yet, which makes it very, very expensive to level the profession and then craft the thing, okay? So I just said, you know what, stuff it, I'm just going to go to the auction house, like probably you will think, and go and buy those enchanted heavy callous hides, or an equivalent for your profession, blacksmithing, I don't know what they have there. Well, at least during those first weeks of Shadowlands, each enchanted heavy callous hide cost between 6,000 and 7,000 gold. So, you know, it's expensive. It gets expensive. Alright, enough said about that. So we go to Torghast naturally, we go to Torghast Tower, start running the wings of Torghast, the corridors of Torghast that are open, different wings every week. We will have a separate video, by the way, to talk about Torghast soloing, kind of casual advice on how to solo Torghast, as straightforward as it seems to some of you. It might be not as straightforward to other people. And that's how we collect Soul Ash. Soul Ash, you get more the higher level of a corridor, the higher level of the wing of Torghast that you have been able to clear. And once you kill the end boss of level 6, you get your Soul Ash, which I did. If I remember correctly, once again, this happened already a week ago and it feels like ages ago with a lot of everything going on. I think it took me about a week of quite intense questing, doing stuff that Bolvar tells you to do, because he also sends you to Torghast to free some souls, and that gives you a little bit of Soul Ash, and of obviously clearing the wings. I think it was about a week. I could be wrong, maybe 2 weeks. Probably not 2 weeks. But anyway, correct me in the comments down below. I always welcome your opinions and corrections and everything like that. I play the game, but I play for fun, and I kind of, look, I take notes, but it's not strictly scripted, as you have already hopefully gotten used to my videos. Alright, so let's say you did what you needed to do, like I did, and you got 1220 of Soul Ash, finally. Well, you finish that quest, you bring it back to the Runecarver, and he says, okay, great, now I need you to get armor rune vessel, which basically is his way of saying, I need that armor base item, the one that you can either craft as a crafter or you can buy from the auction house. Needs Runecarver's memory, a specific memory, which basically means legendary power. You need to learn or obtain and teach Runecarver that legendary power so that it gets added to your library of legendary powers of whatever you're able to craft. Does it make sense? And 2 different missives. What are missives? Missives are just an honorable quick mention here. They are optional ingredients, or except in this case they're not even optional. They are mandatory for legendary items. I can only suspect that they are also being added optionally to the items that you craft, just normal crafting items, the ones that you non-legendary ones. But they basically are stat sheets, if you like. They're stat sheets. A missive of haste, a missive of mastery. It just adds extra stats to your item. That's about it. Alright, so obtaining all of that will require either a lot of gold or a lot of time grinding yourself and trying to get that all through all of that yourself. It will keep you busy, obviously, doing some world activities such as running dungeons to learn to find those Runecarver's memories, and you can use the WoW interface there, the next to the dungeon interface, to take a look, to explore what legendary powers exist and the sources of them, where to get them as well. Wowhead is also your friend. We can always go default, we can go to Wowhead and find out particulars if you are after a particular legendary power for your class, or you heard of one and you want to know where it's from. Well, I would go to Wowhead too and find out exactly what I needed. In my case, I was lucky enough to get one legendary power for I-Beam for Havoc spec pretty much straight away, so I kind of had it. And at that stage I was still exploring, so I was trying to avoid deliberate going to Wowhead, kind of turning it a bit into a mission as opposed to exploration. I like to have fun, I like to explore. Biggest tip is pay attention to what you're doing if you're crafting anything. As simple as it is, pay attention. And check auction house prices before you also commit to crafting. Why am I saying this? First of all, you can craft the wrong item. Happened to yours truly. Wasted heaps of gold on all the materials then, and then I crafted the wrong item. Okay? Happened to me. So can happen certainly to you. And also, I found that crafting the base item, buying individual leathers and whatever else is required, buying individual ingredients, sometimes ends up being far more expensive than simply finding, for some weird reason, a very discounted, very cheap base item on the auction house. Happened to me too. I also insisted on crafting something myself, and then I checked auction house like, oh, I know how much these materials are, surely the items are like through the roof expensive. And they were not. I spent like, I don't know, 40k gold on mix of materials, and then I looked and the base item was sold for 27,000. And I was like, what up? Quite honestly. So pay attention and check auction house prices. It is expensive and requires a lot of material farming and investment. It does. So when you, at the end, when you have everything that you need, you come back to Runecarver to craft your legendary. And I really like the interface, like I said above. I think that the team has invested quite a lot of time into this system. It looks like it's, well, it looks polished, it looks interesting, it looks kind of nice to use and stuff like that. It looks cool to me, to my eye. Except the powers are arguably, subjectively very underwhelming. Tell me what you think. Tell me in the comments down below now if you think they're wonderful. How does it work? Very simple. You select the memory or legendary power that you taught the Runecarver beforehand. Like when it drops for you in a dungeon, you right click it in your bags. Progress bar, boom, he learns the power. It gets just added to your library of powers per se. You select it, you add missives, it gives you a preview of the item and the cost, and it looks all good. Yeah, the cost is steep, so you would be spending 1250 soul ash if you were to craft that item. Like I said, my first power was Havoc. So another final kind of tip here, pretty obvious, but pay attention. I know we are all excited to get our very first legendary item of item level 190. We are, I was. But Luckily, I stopped myself at least already having wasted some money on wrong materials and crafting wrong things. I have looked at it and I'm like, I don't play Havoc much. I don't. I play Vengeance mostly. I play tank as a Demon Hunter. So I really waited. I grinded more. I waited until I got another legendary memory, another legendary power that was for Vengeance spec. Again, not a wonderful one. It's something that has 20% chance. So this power is something that has 20% chance for my Fell Devastation, which is this, you know, that breath, the green breath that Vengeance Demon Hunters do sometimes in dungeons. It's awesome and it heals them and it's good, but it has a 1-minute cooldown. So this legendary item gives you a 20% chance to not incur that cooldown, which is great, good, cool, awesome. Is it like wonderful, like, oh, I feel so legendary about it? Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And that is the main flaw of this legendary system. Again, not to digress here, but I have to say it because I'm not going to make a video just to talk to you about what I don't like about legendary crafting system. That's what I don't like about it. It's underwhelming, like everything in Shadowlands. But that's a separate can of worms altogether. Don't get me started, okay? And that's it, my friends. That is how you make your legendary. That is how you make your legendary item. It is a nice boost to your item level. Overall, the system is great. I just think that they simply just need to be more imaginative in terms of what kind of powers, what kind of legendaries they allow us to craft. Otherwise, it seems like, look, of course it's an item level boost and a very substantial one, and available with some money investment and grinding time investment for materials. It's available pretty early. As you can see, my whole item level was very low when I got my first 190. Yeah, awesome. But at the same time, the power, although useful occasionally when it does proc, in my case, it just tells you how meh it kind of is. And that is my, sadly, overall feeling about a lot of things in Shadowlands. I still play, I'm still excited about some elements, and I'll continue talking to you in the further videos about this, obviously, especially if you're my regular, you know that that's what I do. Sometimes I describe a system to you. Sometimes I talk you through how to tank a dungeon. Sometimes I just share my opinions on a system, and I welcome your opinions, because the dialogue is important to me. And if all of this sounds like your cup of tea, sounds like you still want to support this type of train of thought and kind of the way I do content here on this channel, I very, very, very much appreciate and never take for granted your patronage, so to speak, fancy word. And when you like the videos, when you tell YouTube that you like it, you want more people to see this video so that they come to our little club and so that our club grows. The more of us, the merrier. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much. I'll be speaking with you very soon, very shortly, once again in 2-3 days' time. See you later. Bye.